Hello everyone! Today we're going to be jumping into Historic Brawl with Ashiok, Wicked Manipulator. Now Ashiok is an absolutely insane valued planeswalker. For 5 mana we get an awesome status effect and then a lot of additional value with its other effects as well. So let's take a look at what Ashiok does. First and foremost, if we would pay life while our library has at least that many cards in it, exile that many cards from the top of our library instead. So that's going to be really awesome for us. That's going to let us fuel up our exile zone. It's going to also let us kind of cheat out life paying cards, which is also pretty good. Now, one notable thing about paying life, even though we have Ashiok, we cannot pay life that we do not have, if that makes sense to you. So while like a card like Aetherflux Reservoir seems like it would make a lot of sense in this deck, we're actually not going to be able to pay that 50 life unless we have at least 50 life. So this isn't going to work out exactly like that, despite that being a pretty cool idea there. Now, here, for its +1 ability, we can actually look at the top 2 cards of our library. One goes into exile, the other one goes into our hand. So that's going to be really, really nice for giving us some value. Its -2 ability is going to be kind of an in case of emergencies kind of thing for us, where we create 2 1/1 Black Nightmare creatures. They're going to get bigger at the beginning of combat if a card was put into exile this turn. But really, we're going to kind of use those as blockers to protect Ashiok. Only if we have to, because we want to get up to that -7 ability where target player exiles the top X cards of their library, where X is the total mana value of cards we own in exile. Now, of course, Ashiok's static ability lets us put a bunch of cards in exile, but we have a couple of other things that we can do as well. So, just talking through this deck, first thing that we have is ways of proliferating, so we can get Ashiok up to that 7 ability. We've got ourselves Karn Bastion, we've got Vraska here as well. We've got the Staff of Completion, which as a bonus will also let us pay life, so we'll be exiling some cards with Ashiok and proliferating. That's pretty good. And then Drown and Ichor as well for the removal and proliferating effect. Lots of ways to pay life in this deck as well. So we've got things like Phyrexian Processor. This is a big one since we get to choose the amount of life we pay, which is going to be really strong. A couple of other methods as well. Things like Necropotence is pretty good as well, because we can pay in increments of 1 life, so this just kind of lets us choose how many cards we want to exile. And then, of course, it also exiles cards when we pay that life, so that's kind of a double whammy for us. Pretty good there. Now, we're also trying to find specific pieces to really help us out with this deck, so that's why we have some tutor cards like Wishclaw. We've got Diabolic Intent. We also have our Grim Tutor, which is also going to help us out. So really want to find those important cards. And then a bunch of ramp as well, because we do want to be ramping on those early turns so we can get out a quick Ashiok, so we can combo off and secure the win. Right, things like Treasure Map, Ironcrag, Mindstone, Maze Mind doesn't ramp us, but gives us some additional insight into the top card of our deck. We have Guardian Idol, Cold Steel, Arcane Signet as well. So a lot of that going on. Now, if we take a look, our deck has a much higher mana curve than normal. That is because that last ability is based on the total mana value of cards we own in exile, and not the number of cards in exile. So we do need those expensive cards to kind of offset that. Now, additionally, we do run a lot of board wipes in this deck, right? We do want to be keeping Ashiok safe on the battlefield, which is why we have the Invasion, Blood on the Snow, Crux of Fate, Languish, things like that. And then, of course, if we take a look, we actually have some fun additional value here with Erebos Intervention here. Now, we can use this as the pay X, give creature -X and gain X life, which is really good. But as kind of a cheeky little play here, we can exile twice X cards from graveyards. So we can pay an X value, exile a couple of extra cards from our graveyard, and really fuel that -7 ability if we're just a little bit shy and have that card in hand. So that's kind of fun as well. Now, that's pretty much it for the deck. We've got a bunch of cool creatures that do fun things, lots of ways to pay life, but aside from that, game plan's fairly straightforward, where we're working towards that combo, but we might also be able to outvalue our opponent as well. As a friendly reminder, if you guys have been enjoying my videos, make sure you subscribe to the channel to stay up to date on my latest content, and if you do enjoy this video, make sure you give it a like. Let's go ahead and see how this deck does. Alright, so here we are on the play. This is a hand that we could keep, but I'm going to go ahead and take a mulligan, see if we can find something a little bit better. I do like this more. So we'll go ahead and keep this instead. Arcane Signet's going to give us some good ramp. And of course, we do want to be able to kill Ramos. So having both Murderous Rider, Drown and Ichor, and Languish is all pretty good here for us. Game plan, going to be just ramp, get Ashiok out, and then try and protect Ashiok while we slowly exile things and gain some value off of our paying life effects. Which, hopefully, we're going to be able to draw into. Opponent's still thinking about their starting hand. Again, I think this is perfect for us, so we'll go ahead and keep. Now, Mana Confluence is probably an interesting inclusion for all of you guys. Just remember that we do have to pay 1 life to add 1 mana of any color here. This seems like it's strictly a downside in a monocolored deck, but we do really want to be able to fill up our graveyard. Alright, we'll play out this Arcane Signet. Looking good. Opponent started with a World Tree. So that's a pretty solid first land. We have an idea what they're going for here. Let's go Iron Crag. End the turn. Hold up Murderous Rider. Or Price of Fame if they play a legendary creature. Alright, well, we'll go Ashiok here. Plus. Exile you, grab our land, play our land, pass the turn. Yep, so now it's keep the board clear and make sure that we get Ashiok to keep giving us some value. What a shame, back in the command zone you go. Immediately replay the Ashiok. Gonna plus here. Exile you. Keep you. Definitely want to keep hitting our land drops. Sure.
I am unappreciated in my time.
End the turn. We have to choose what we want to discard here. Honestly, we're going to get rid of Languish. Maybe that'll incentivize our opponents to play out some more creatures that we can actually remove with our removal spells. We'll kill that with the Murderous Rider. Play out Iron Crag again. Play out Murderous Rider. End the turn. Sure. I'm just going to use Baleful Mastery here. Just before our opponent has access to 2 more mana in case they run a more expensive counterspell. 2, 4, 6. I'm imagining we're going to see Ramos here. Nope, Knight of Autumn. That's fine. Here's Ashiok, once again, coming back. Plus here. I think we exile the Nyx Lotus, because I do want our March here. No attacks, because we need to protect Ashiok. Alright, opponent has tons of mana. So this is going to be an important turn to survive. Sure. Send you right back there. Necropotence is going to be really good. I actually like both of those cards there. So now we can plus the Ashiok. Exile that. Grab Necropotence. Play Necropotence. End turn. We have March of Wretched Sorrows. We need Ashiok to survive here, but we're gonna, with Necropotence, definitely be able to get a bunch of cards into our exile. Okay. Zakama, sure. Everything's untapped. Alright, here's where we start doing the Necropotence thing. Hitting lots of lands here. We're just gonna keep going. Again, we just want to make sure that that number there doesn't get larger than the number of cards left in our library. This might take just a little bit. Again, we're pretty much going all in on our next turn. Opponent has 2 cards and we need them to not kill Ashiok. $39. $44. We're about halfway where we need to be, which is pretty good because we're in a good spot with our library as well. And of course, we're going to have so many cards in our hands. That's going to be a lot of options. 49. Still more to go. Guess we've got it. All right. All right, on the play. And this looks like a pretty good starting hand. Now, we are up against a Yawgmoth deck. Worth noting. Good thing that Yawgmoth isn't an artifact, so go for the throat. It's actually a pretty good card to have here. And turn, hold this up. Maybe there's something else that we're going to want to hit, but saving this for Yawgmoth feels like it would be pretty good. Jadar, sure. Jadar is fine. Opponent definitely has an aggressive early start. We're gonna go for the Staff of Completion. Next turn we can play out Nyx's Lotus. Sure. Yeah. Opponent's gonna have a very aggressive early game, it looks like. We really just want to make our way up to the invasion here, so 6 mana so we can board wipe. Mana Confluence, that's fine. We'll play out Nyx's Lotus here. Depending on what we see, I'm going to make a choice on what we want to do with our Staff of Completion this turn. I think we're going to be in a really good spot if we can wipe our opponent's board. Okay, yep, Yawgmoth. Okay, attacking. That's fine. Alright. That's fine. We're gonna draw a card here. Gonna go with the most expensive, because we definitely need to find a land. And I'm glad we did that. Auto-pay. We'll take another 2 off the priest. If they choose to sacrifice that way. But we'll see. Either way, their board is going to be empty. Yep. Maybe Yawgmoth, sack those, draw some cards. Yep. Looks good. Nice. They cleared their own board for me. Doesn't matter, we'll take both. And now we can actually use that 2 mana off our Nyx Lotus to get the Vivisector into play. We might see a replayed Yogg here. If that's the case, go for the throat. Gonna be the play for next turn. We also have Erebos Intervention. Lily. Alright.
Enough with the mysteries. I've come with answers.
Okay, we'll get to Scry here.
Off you go.
That's not bad. A Yawgmoth of our own. Do we want that? I kind of don't think we want that. We're gonna go ahead and put Yogg on the bottom. Another land. Play out our Ashiok. I'm gonna minus here. Give us some more creatures.
Go.
And then we'll end the turn here.
Sorrow.
Beseech the Mirror is gonna be pretty good for us. We're gonna get rid of Go for the Throat here. In the hopes that that incentivizes our opponent to play out Yawgmoth. In which case we'll kill with Erebos Intervention. Sure. Diabolic Intent. Okay. A little scared of what that would be. 5 mana on available to our opponent. Worst case scenario, we can Erebos Intervention picking our own creature. Just to gain that life. That is, of course, the worst case, but we'll see. Immortal Sun. Yeah, that's not great for us. Let's draw a card. Move on to my turn. We'll kick the Skyclave Relic. Kill Liliana. Not that it matters.
Delay, nothing more.
I just imagine that eventually we are going to be getting rid of Immortal Sun so we can use Ashiok again. Though, maybe not. We'll see. Beseech the Mirror is probably going to be a strong play. Just so we can pick something that's going to give us a ton of value. Nested Shambler? Sure. Yawgmoth. So let's see what we have. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. go. We'll just kill the Yawgmoth. We lose both of our tokens, but that's gonna be fine. Maybe they choose to draw another card. Maybe they prefer to keep their flyer. Either way, even though we can't activate the abilities of our Planeswalker, the fact that Ashiok is letting us pay life for free is really good. And we're up at 11. Alright, we're gonna go black mana here, and beseech the mirror, bargaining, sacking that token. Let's see what we want. See, got a couple of different options for what we can get out onto the battlefield. Necropotence feels like a pretty good one. Let's see. We can think about some of those higher value cards as well. Actually, I think that's what we're gonna do. There was really no need to bargain there. Really just for the option, I think the Citadel is definitely the way to go. Cold Steel Heart. Grab black. Land for turn. We'll play a Dark Ritual. Call the Ring. Another land. Let's draw a card. Draw a Yawgmoth. Let's play ourselves our own Yawgmoth. It's kind of fun. Let's see. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Nope. What else can we do here? I think we'll just go Guardian Idol. End the turn. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, so we can deal 10 damage with the Citadel. So we need 10 more permanents. I think we're gonna get there. Alright, Nest of Scarabs, really good with Yawgmoth. Opponent can play out Yawgmoth here. And it looks like they do, sacrificing a squirrel. We just kind of need to keep Ashiok on the battlefield this turn. As long as Ashiok doesn't die, we should be in a really good spot. Yeah, sure, pay 2 life. Let's exile those. Draw a card. Wishclaw Talisman. Cruelty of Gix. Let's play our land. Mana Confluence for black, get rid of that. Agatha's Soul Cauldron, sure. Play that. Pay 4 life, draw a card. Go ahead, draw you. Crux of Fate. Alright, let's go Wishclaw Talisman. Alright, we're getting closer. Do I care about clearing the board? Not particularly, but I do think we have to go ahead and play this. I could use Wishclaw here. No, we'll clear the board. All non-dragons can go die right now. Key to the Archive is going to be really good for us. Yeah, 11 mana off Nyx Lotus. So opponent's probably just gonna, I don't know, draw a bunch of cards. Pay some life, sure. The more life our opponent plays, the closer we are to killing them. Nice. Okay, key the Archive. Gray Merchant is going to be really big for us. Okay. That's huge. Discard you. Gray Merchant. Let's see. So now opponent's at 8, and we will sacrifice. It looks like we've got it. Alright everyone, I hope you enjoyed. As we were able to see today, one of the harder parts about this deck is getting your opponent to really stick in there after you start exiling a bunch of cards, because it does become abundantly clear when we've outvalued our opponent to a degree where they're really not going to be able to catch up again. A couple of powerhouses in the deck are the Phyrexian Processor here, just being able to pay a bunch of life but not have to actually suffer the consequences of paying life is really good, and getting a big creature each turn is amazing. We're able to see how good Bolas's Citadel is. Necropotence is also absolutely insane, being able to pay 1 life at a time and of course get access to a ton of cards. But really, this is a deck that's built around its commander. So unlike a lot of the mono black decks that you see where you're running a lot of those strong mono black threats, you have a bunch of removal, right? And the deck itself operates perfectly fine independently of what your commander is. This deck is really built around that static ability. Even without the ability to activate our Planeswalker abilities in that last game there, just the fact that we have that static ability letting us exile cards instead of paying life, we were able to get ahead of our opponent, and that's ultimately what secured us the win there. Now, if you guys did enjoy this video, make sure you give it a like, and if you have any ideas for another deck that you'd like to see me play, why don't you let me know in a comment down below. I'll see you all next time.